definitely not a bad way to start the day. So the plan for today is to hopefully get the new calipers I got right over here, get these tested on the car, make sure they fit properly. There's no issues. I mean, they should be a direct fit to my car, but you never know. There's always little issues here and there. So make sure these fit perfectly, and then we'll go from there. Once these fit in the car and check out like they're supposed to, I actually have an entire rebuild kit for these ones with them like brand new. So new slides here, new little covers, new seals for the inside, and a new piston, make them a complete brand new caliper. So I was telling you guys for the calipers, I wanted to do like a metallic kind of gray paint on them, and I'm pretty positive the gray on the jack is pretty close to what I want. So this kind of very metallic-y, like charcoal gray kind of color on the calipers mixed with the color of Miley, I think will make a very nice combo. Quick update as well on the ATS wheels there. If you guys remember, those have 195/45 tires on them. I have someone who's local who said he has a set of 195/50s that he wants to sell for cheap. I'm pretty sure he's local, so that might be a good option for those. But I also remembered that up here on my Ford Explorer wheels, I have a brand new set of tires. I don't remember what size they are. They might be 195/55s or 185. What are these? Hold on, let's see. These ones here, these are 185/55s, but they are all brand new. So I might just snag these tires for the ATS wheels and be all set. I mean, they're literally brand new, so we'll see. But with that, let's go ahead and get the car jacked up and make sure our new fancy calipers here are gonna fit. This here is our current brake setup, 256mm rotor with our standard 2.0 American spec 2.0 caliper here. I've never had any issues with this car stopping or felt like the car couldn't stop enough, but obviously a bigger rotor, a better caliper, more stopping power is always good to have. You can see the obvious size difference between the 256 and the 280 we're running. Not this exact one because I'm not running 5 lug, but I'm getting a set of 4 lug 280mm slotted Brembo rotors for the front of this car, which is stopped very, very nicely. Now the calipers here, I believe, are almost the exact same size, but this caliper here will allow us to run a 280mm rotor in the front, and also once I rebuild it, have a lot more clamping power. So the car should brake very, very nicely after this. So we'll go ahead and pull off our stock 2.0 caliper here and get our new one put on. I'm also gonna mount up this rotor, even though it's the wrong bolt pattern. I just need one screw to hold it on, but I wanna make sure the whole setup's gonna work together. All right, so on the back side of our rotor here, there's two 17mm bolts that go through that hold your caliper on, which are much nicer than the garbage I use on Mark IVs. So I've already broken them free, so now we'll go ahead and just spin them out and get our caliper set out of the way. And there's one screw right here in the front of your rotor. Pull that out, whole thing comes off, and then go ahead and swap on our new fancy stuff, which I hope everything works. Everyone told me it's a direct fit, but things always seem to get messed up somehow. So hopefully everything works out exactly how it should. All right, we got both of our 17s out of the way. We're gonna go ahead and slowly pull our caliper off. That easy, and we'll go ahead and pull out this bracket. I should be able to set it all over the ground. I think this hose is long enough for that. I hope. And down. Yeah, it's long enough, so there's no strain on the hose itself. So caliper's out of the way. I've already broken this screw here free, so we'll undo this and pull off our rotor here. Don't want to lose that. This should just come straight off. There she is, boom. So rotor is over here, out of the way. Caliper is off, and this is our stock 4-lug hub. If I ever want to go to 5-lug, I can swap this entire arm here and go to 5-lug and swap to the bigger VR axles. But at the current moment, I don't have any wheels for 5-lug that'll fit on this car, and that's one on the Zobber. So the 4-lug's fine for now. So now we're gonna see if this should obviously fit. I'm just gonna put the one screw back in to hold it on there. Like I said, I'm not using this 5-lug rotor, but it fits just the same. There's that. And now we will make sure our other caliper here will still mount up properly and fit around this, which I need to pull these pads out of here. Just get them out of the way. We're not gonna need them anyways. We're getting new pads. All right, so let's make sure this will still bolt up properly and fit all the way around our caliper here, which it's not looking like it's gonna fit. Hold on. The mounting point looks off. So either, I also was a direct fit, but it's looking like where this one would mount to my hub is definitely off and it's not gonna fit the right way. So either I need a bracket or I'm gonna have to use that hub, which I don't want to do because I don't have VR axles or wheels to put on those hubs. Interesting. Maybe we'll see. I can put this caliper on, I'm sure, because like this is holding it too far out. I'm sure with the, I'll show you guys on here. If you look back over here, this is where it mounts up, which is right there, and I'm not able to get this caliper close enough to fit. It should fit right behind that, but obviously it's not going far enough because I'm already hitting here. So I'm pretty sure with the other hub, this mounting point is either further out a little bit, or probably just change this a little bit. But I'm sure I could run this caliper with my normal rotors, but I don't want to do that. I want to have the bigger rotor here. So let me ask around and see what I'm missing here. Okay, so I think I figured out the issue. The problem is not the caliper, the problem is this rotor. So this is the 5x100 GTI rotor. I won't be using this one. I'm gonna be using a 280mm 4x100 G60 rotor, which if you look at my 4x100 rotor here, you see how tall this section is? Look how much more shallow that one there is compared to looking down on this one. See how thick this portion right here is? So the G60 caliper I'm getting is this one right here. This is the Brembo one. But do you see how tall, I'll try, the glare's kind of bad. Hope you can see that. You see how tall this little like top hat section area is? That's why you need to use the G61. I'm pretty sure once I have the G61 and it's taller here and the rotor sits back like maybe that much more, if you look at where the caliper is sitting right now, I only need that much more to go back. So I think once I have the proper rotor, this will fit no problem and we'll be good to go, and we'll be able to fit the 280mm rotor. I think it's just the fact that we're trying to use this GTI 5x100 rotor here. I think that's the issue. So cool, now that I know that this caliper is gonna work properly, and once I have the proper G60 rotor, this will also work. We are good to go here. So now I'm gonna go ahead and put the car back together, put it back in the garage. We're gonna head to the BX and hopefully try and find the color that I wanna paint these things. Once I get back home, we'll go ahead and disassemble the entire caliper. Like I said, I'm buying the rebuild kit, so we'll have a new piston. You can see one's kind of rusty in there. So new piston, all new seals, new guides here, and then new seals here. And we're gonna have ourselves a fancy, brand new looking caliper very soon. I've been wanting to do a brake upgrade on mine for quite a long time now, so I'm glad it's finally happening. But I kind of want to see how these massive calipers look in there. Look how massive this caliper is. Is it close? Actually, that might actually bolt up. Hold on a sec. So I went ahead and pulled the rotor off to get a better look here. So these are our mounting points, 1 and 2 for our caliper. Look how close these are to actually fitting. Look at that. One's there. This one's just a hair too far down, but it looks like this piece here on the bottom, this little aluminum piece, is actually bolted up with these 2 bolts. And I think this is an adapter bracket. So if they made an adapter for just this piece that was for a Mark III hub, I could run these massive calipers. Look at that. I'm actually gonna bolt up the top one and just see how it sits, but dude, that would be insane. I'm gonna get these mounting bolts here actually pulled out real fast so we can actually mount it to my, or partially mount it. I think the top one, well, one or the other is gonna fit. But if I can get a bracket for this that fits for my hub, whoo, boys, we might be ditching the GTI calipers and going for some big old race car brakes. Dude, these things are huge, but how cool would it be? I don't even know if I have wheels big enough that would fit around these, but hey, we're gonna try and send it. All right, let's see if we can't get this thing to kind of just sit on here. Like I said, one of these mounting points will mount up. And like I said, they might make a bracket for these brakes to go onto a Mark III. Even then though, this is just such a small aluminum piece. Someone can make that. I don't know. I don't even know if I can find big enough rotors to fit these calipers, or if I have even my wheels are big enough to go over these calipers. But hey, this might actually work. So I'm only gonna do the top one because that's the one that fits. Get in there. Did it? My dust shield's a bit in the way, but obviously with the correct bracket, it would change where this is placed. But I think, yeah, maybe I'll do the bottom one so it's kind of in more. We can get that's a basic idea. That's your general idea Obviously, it wouldn't be tilted out like that, but dude, those things are huge. I went ahead and got it mounted a little bit better this time in a more like realistic spot. This bracket looks like it's meant to go between, but I mounted it from the front side backwards because the bolts, my factory bolts here, are the same thread basically into this, but they're not long enough to go all the way through. And these ones are just a little bit too thick to go into here, so I just mocked it up for right now. But I always get longer bolts of these ones if this actually works. But if they make a bracket for this caliper that puts this in the right spot, I can find the right size rotor, that would be pretty cool. Like, look how sick that looks. Actually, what I can do, I can put my rotor back on and see if I mean, I know this wheel probably won't fit over it, but I guess we can just try. So what honestly started out as just like a joke, this honestly might work. So I put my factory 256 back on just so I can try and bolt up this wheel over this massive caliper. But how I have it on here right now, it's bolted from a high height before, so the whole entire bracket is in behind the caliper and it's just through holding it on. Same setup as how the factory ones bolt up. It goes through the caliper and then into the hub. So honestly, if I just had someone drill out another hole in the right spot on the same caliper bracket here, this caliper would bolt up right there. Now I don't know exactly what size rotor I would need to run. Obviously the 256 would have like only like a quarter of the pad actually hitting it, but the 280 fills out the rotor or the caliper a lot better. But I know this thing has big square pads. I saw them at Martin's house. I don't know if they're gonna overlap this section and be like off the pad, so I would need, I would say roughly a 280 millimeter rotor, but more surface. I don't know, but the more I mess with this, it's actually looking like it may work, which is crazy. Look how massive those things are, dude. They look insane on the car. But how cool would that be if these actually worked? So neither the PowerTech nor the ATS wheel could clear this massive caliper, but as you see, I have the good old adapters back on, which means the zobbers are coming out for a quick test fit. If those wheels don't fit, it's one thing. I can always get like a 17-inch set of track wheels. That's fine. But if the zobbers don't fit and I can't run these wheels anymore, that's no good. So let's see what happens. Ooh, baby, the zobbers are on and all bolted down. I can't tell. It looks like it's touching somewhere, but that might be because I have a screw sticking on the backside. I think this section here, it's close, but I'm pretty sure that clears. If I'm hitting the screwdriver in the back, I think something's touching a little bit, but I can't quite tell where it's at. We might be able, I mean, the fact that it bolts up is huge. If I can get that bracket in the back adjusted a little bit to either go down some or back some or just enough to clear inside this barrel and the zobbers still work with these brakes, we're gonna be in good shape. Look how cool it looks to see that pop through there. Woo! Man, if these actually work, that would be insane. So I'm gonna go into the car wick and look from the backside and see what's actually touching. That way I can know if we can adjust at all. There might not be enough room to move it, but there also might be, so we shall see. All right, so under the car here, it looks like it's the bottom side right there that's touching, but we do have room at the top side to go up a little bit. So if we move this up just enough, that won't touch there and it won't touch there. And I think we're okay. Now looking right here though, I wanna make sure there's enough room to actually turn the wheel and not have this I mean, we make a whole new one, but we have to adjust for this, make sure this portion right here wouldn't touch. But honestly though, I think moving it up just a little bit into that gap there, so the bottom's not touching anymore, and making sure this part doesn't touch, I think this is gonna work. I think these will actually work. That's insane. Like I said, I wasn't too worried about these wheels not fitting. These are easy enough to replace, but the zobbers had to fit. And I think the zobbers actually, it works. And honestly though, where the caliper is sitting right now, it'd actually be sitting normally up about another maybe 5 or so millimeters, since I had that screwdriver holding it versus an actual bolt. It's not in the exact right spot. So honestly, where that top bolt is holding the caliper might actually be working right now. But if we get the proper adapter caliper for this caliper to my Mark III front end, man, what started out as a joke now may actually work. And look how good those brakes look back there. That's so cool. So the plan now, I'm gonna do some research and see if this company or any company makes a bracket for these calipers to fit right to a Mark III. If not, we can go ahead and modify this one if I can find someone to do that. Just have the holes centered properly to actually match the hub of my car, and then obviously we want the caliper centered and not hitting the wheel, and then some of this trimmed off so we don't touch the lower control arm. But with that and then the right size rotor, I don't see why this setup actually wouldn't work. So even though it's looking like the Lorinser brakes are gonna work out, I'm still gonna go through and rebuild the GTI calipers, gonna paint it and run the G60 rotors over here because I already have the 15-inch track wheels ready to go and all that kind of stuff's already done. I need to figure out what size rotors to use with those brake calipers. I need a set of at least 16-inch track wheels to fit the bracket situation. So there's more research to be done there. It's looking like they will work, but for right now, we'll do these ones first and then hopefully upgrade to those ones. It's been such a long time since I've seen the Zobbers on my land. Man, those wheels look so good. Don't worry, I have a plan to fix the last one. The Zobbers will be back soon. Don't you worry. Show you guys a quick side-by-side between the stock 2.0 caliper here versus the GTI / G60 one over here. You can see this arm that mounts your hub is much longer on this one than this one. This is what allows the caliper to be farther out and gives you the room to fit the larger rotor versus this one that only fits the 256. So these are a very, very cool upgrade that just direct fit your car. Not as massive as these things over here, but still a very cool direct fit upgrade. All right, with all that fun stuff done, let's go try and find us some paint. So unfortunately, they didn't have the car I wanted, but my trim paint's back in stock, so you know we stocked up. This Panamera is sick. Little body kit on it. That thing is baller. So unfortunately, no paint for the calipers today, but it's okay. I have a few stores I want to check tomorrow, and hopefully I find something I like. But as for these Lorinser calipers over here, I can't quite find this exact model online just yet, or any companies that make a bracket for a Mark III, but not the end of the world. I might just send the entire thing to Fabulous and say, hey, this is what I want to do. Can you modify this bracket for me to work on a Mark III? Which I'm sure they can. I don't have the means to fill this and re-drill and tap and all that kind of fancy stuff, but he's an awesome welder and I'm sure he can do all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna hit up Pete and see what he says, and then maybe, just maybe, we'll have ourselves a nice, perfectly fitting Lorinser caliper on the Mark III. I had planned on pulling apart the GTI calipers today, but we ended up doing so much more stuff with those calipers over there. We'll save that teardown for tomorrow. But that'll be it for today's video. Hope you guys enjoyed. As always, don't forget, be thankful for every single day. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.